Herm Schrader on the Dirty Mo Media platform from the middle of America, I think, starts right now.
Two out of three. Even when Dietz is home, he's
Finally.
not in the middle of America.
Well,
No.
we're getting there, Dietz. Looks like Schrader and I are finally in the middle of America.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of the South. I think I'll probably just stay here for a while.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
Kenny
a long
Schrader.
way from. That's a long way from the South, though. Really.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. If you look at it from, Washington, D.C. down to Florida, I'm kind of in the middle. Kinda.
No.
Yeah.
You're closer to D.C.
Yeah. You're thinking deep South.
Well, South. Yeah.
Yeah, it's South.
Okay, so we got that straightened out.
Yeah, I got a bigger story. It's Monday after the Vegas race, and it's 28 degrees here in Missouri, and snow flurries. What in the world?
I rode my motorcycle yesterday morning.
Yeah, 70 degrees yesterday. Well, they say this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all started on Wednesday. We're going to be close to 80 degrees the rest of the week. So this is old man winter just seeking attention.
Yeah. It's the middle of April. There's no reason to think it's supposed to be 70 every day.
Yeah, true. Okay, guys, enough of the shenanigans, as they would say. Another great weekend for racing. Dirt racing got roughed up, everybody. We're going to talk about that like we always do once we get done talking about NASCAR. Just want to let everybody know that we know everything that happened in dirt racing, but our hearts go out to everybody. But Kenny and Dietz, Denny Hamlin passes Kevin Harvick. He is now the 10th winningest all-time NASCAR Cup driver in history. 61 Cup wins. Man, what a big win for Denny, Kenny, after a tough end of the last year.
Yeah, I mean, tough end of last year through the winter. I mean, it's good to see. The thing with Denny's 61 victories is he's not done. He's not done. There's no telling how many he can add to that. And he said that he's in the right mindset. And oh boy, that just means that they're going to be tough. Denny is wow, that's a fantastic career, and to be that competitive still, be able to win at any given day, he's going to keep adding victories.
I've lost what I'm. In other words, on the social media sites, they show you the rankings of the most wins in the Cup Series. And Dietz, maybe you can look at that. I just want to say that is rare air that Denny is in, and it did shock me. Our hero, Dale Earnhardt Sr. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was thinking Earnhardt was way up there. Dale Sr. Now this is just talk. Doesn't mean anything. Dale Sr.'s ranked like 7th in most wins. That caught me off guard a little bit. That's a lot of wins. Don't get me wrong.
Wait a minute. You don't think that's way up there?
Man, after 7 championships, I just had Earnhardt, way ahead of these guys.
Well, where's Jimmy ranked?
Well, do you guys want to hear the rankings?
Yeah.
In the top 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously Richard Petty, 200 wins. David Pearson, 105 wins. Jeff Gordon, 93 wins, which is still why I think Jeff Gordon may be the greatest that's ever done it.
Stop right there. Everybody take a pen. 93 wins with 4 championships. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to prove a point. I'm just saying I was caught off guard, but keep going.
Okay. Well, and under the same point system, Earnhardt won 7. Jeff Gordon would have would have won 7, and Jimmy Johnson wouldn't have. But that's besides the point. It's just my 2 cents.
And it doesn't mean anything,
fourth,
but I'll bring it up. It doesn't make any difference, but I'm just pointing it out.
Bobby Allison 4th with 85. Once NASCAR decided to count that win at Bowman Gray, which they should have. Darrell Waltrip 5th with 84. Jimmy Johnson 6th with 83. Cale Yarborough tied for 6th with 83. Dale Earnhardt 8th with 76. Kyle Busch 9th with 63. And Denny Hamlin 10th with 61.
Yeah, all good. Kenny, I was just saying, don't get me wrong. I can't win one. I get that. I'm just saying my hero, it just caught me off guard. I put Earnhardt at the very top of everything.
The other thing, too, if you look at that list of races started, like Petty's 200, he started, 1,100 or something. No, he started more than that. I think 1,100 or something.
Oh, yeah.
But the when you look at David Pearson, he didn't run but like 500 races. So percentage-wise, him and Richard Petty are the same. And, again, you could get into a whole debate about, numbers and rankings and who is the best and all that sort of things, which makes it fun. But when you look at – go ahead, Kenny.
When Denny Hamlin retires, he'll be higher up than 10th.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think he's probably going to end up in the 70s, high 60s, low 70s is what I would think. Because you would think he probably – I don't think he'll race more in a couple of years, but, I mean, you never know.
Okay, well, I just – NASCAR and the sport is making a big deal out of Denny Hamlin's 61 race wins, and I thought we'd talk about it for a little bit. And, okay, as Larry McReynolds said, I think we beat that like a dead horse. Kenny, I love it. How many more do you think he's going to win, Kenny?
I don't know. More. More. There's no telling. There's no telling. That's someone asked me who I picked the other day. I said, I don't pick anybody because there's too many of them that can win. I know the guys I'd like to see win, but I ain't picking anybody.
I'm sorry, Herm, but the thing about Denny Hamlin is it was just a couple of years ago that Kevin Harvick won like 8 races. So, if he has a season like that, then you're, pushing 70 just this year.
Yeah. Denny won a lot last year. So, yeah, I agree. Okay, everybody. Just a shout out to In Perspective. That was just perspective talking where Denny Hamlin ranks. He ranks with the greatest of all time. So, congratulations, Denny Hamlin. Kenny, I know you're a tough guy, but you can get emotional. I've known you my whole life. Denny Hamlin's victory lane with Mama coming out there with the kids. The mother ran out there. She recovered from the house fire tragedy where she lost her husband. Denny Hamlin's mother was recovering in the hospital, and she's at his first win this year. I think it puts everybody with a complete different perspective now of Denny. Give me your thoughts.
Oh, yes. It get emotional for sure. Here's your mama, your wife, or wife and 3 kids. You win your first race after a rough off season. Yeah, it was big. And I'm sure that the grandstand noise was different than it would have been a couple of years ago.
Isn't that something? Leave it to me to bring it up. Just the study in psychology, and Denny did bring a lot of it on himself. Yes, he did. But boy, you talk about a 180. My
Yeah.
God, they went from booing him last year to cheering him this year for all the right reasons. I think it was this race last year where they saw the human side of him. It was Vegas where, everybody understood, he brought it up at this race last year that, hey, my dad's not doing good. And so 1 year later, the fans go from booing Denny Hamlin to him being their favorite because they see Denny as vulnerable. He is married. He lost his father. There's his mama. So, yeah, that was awesome. I really liked seeing that. Let's move on to the race, guys. We got a lot of fun things to talk about. Kenny, you and I have run here, and here we are for the second year in a row. I picked just a highlight or two here. Ricky Stenhouse coming off of turn 4. Now we know why they changed the entrance to Atlanta, because Atlanta and Vegas are similar, not identical, but similar. Now we know why they run around the apron at Atlanta, because at Vegas, every single race. So Stenhouse is trying to pit, and Connor Zilisch doesn't know it and just hits him in the rear. What do you think, Kenny? They're gonna have to communicate.
It can happen easy there. It can happen real easy. Like obviously we've seen it before. But you're trying to hook that line. If you're running the bottom, you're trying to hook that line. And if you're coming into pits, you're trying to hook that line and get slowed down on the banking as much as you can before you make that left at the last minute for pit road. And you put yourself in a very vulnerable situation. Not that, it's just the way you have to do it. But you just also have to make sure that everybody knows you're pitting. And there was a little lack of communication there.
I got an idea for all the spotters up in the spotter stand. Everybody has a sign in the spotter stand, and it's like a paddle, and it says, "We are pitting." And when you get ready to pit, all the spotters, whoever's pitting, holds it up.
I got.
Oh my gosh!
I got an idea for the spotter stand too. First off, when they held up that paddle, you'd have to look down the row to see, and you wouldn't be looking at your car. My idea with the spotter stand is to get rid of it, but that's a whole, that's just that's from being on. Hey, I got to tell you this, Pilot Earl, Earl, we got him spotting at Dover. It was a Busch race, 1900 something. We wound up winning the thing. But I said, "Hey, Earl, wave to me." We're lined up on pit road. The spotter's down turn 1. I said, wave to me. And he said, "Okay." And there's 40 people lined up there, and there's nobody waving. And I said, "Earl, you're not waving." He said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "I can't see you." He said, "I'm waving." I said, "Earl, I'm looking at 40 people lined up, and ain't nobody waving." He said, "I don't know where you're looking, but I'm down there in turn 1 in that tower, turn 1 at Dover, that like for the horses.
Yeah.
That was inside the track.
Yeah.
He was in that tower. He was the only person.
he had the best view of any spotter.
I told him, "Go down there and get in the top of that tower in turn 1. He went down that tower.
How in the world did he talk them in to letting him in there?
He just climbed up there.
Big.
He just climbed up there.
Hey, another one. The great Dale Sr., he would say, "Don't listen to your spotter. Clear yourself." Nowadays, they're like, "Am I clear?" And they listen to the spotter. They end up getting wrecked. So there's a little bit to that. Of course, with all the full seat containments.
Bull. That's got nothing to do with it.
I'm listening.
It's not.
I'm listening.
If that seat's right, you can see over it. Your eyes are over that right side, and you got 2 mirrors now. We used to have 1 mirror that shook like crazy. Now they got a mirror and the dashboard video. Bull. They don't need the spotters. Now, some guys would cry and moan, but that's just an old guy's opinion. They don't need them.
Are the drivers getting lazy now and
No.
relying on too much help?
Well,
They got cool suits. They got spotters.
we had that stuff too, but I'm just thinking, I don't think spotters have saved a lot of accidents.
They've caused a lot. Okay, so we are finally off turn 4, everybody. Man, anyway, they just keep wrecking off of turn 4. It should be like, who will wreck? That'd be a bet in Vegas. Who wrecks off turn 4 this year in Vegas? Okay, so we go on around the racetrack, everybody. Of course, we know Denny Hamlin won the race, but it gets really exciting at the end of the race. Somewhere in the race, everybody's got a nickname. Danny Boy, Daniel Suarez, and Watermelon Man, Ross Chastain, they get into it. And there's a lot to this. We're going to break this down. So they're going down the back straightaway. The race is over, and they're kind of running into each other a little bit. Not much, just a little. They get to pit road. They get out, and Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, they kind of start pushing on each other. And some lady, I don't know who it is, everybody, respond right here. Probably did you see that girl that broke it up?
Yeah, she just stood in the middle. If I was guessing, she was probably Suarez's PR girl. I don't have a clue, but that's looked like who I would guess it was. And in my mind, she did a great job. She just kept standing there, and she did her job. She did good.
She was taller than both of them.
It was fun to watch.
My favorite part was, it's sunny Vegas, and she's, doing the right thing, taking care of herself. She got the big sun hat on, big one, and that made her stand out. Dietz, did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. It kind of reminded me of my wife and with my children, to tell you the honest truth, is what it reminded me of. And, you said that there's, we'll get deeper into that story. You guys may know, I don't know. There's obviously some hard feelings with Suarez and Trackhouse, because I think every race this year he's had a problem with one of those drivers, whether it was Van Gisbergen or Zilich and maybe it's just as simple as, he got let go from that team. But there's something there, because it seems like every race there's been some sort of issue with him in a Trackhouse car this year.
Well, okay, I'll take that on.
It's a tough business, I'm telling you.
Who knows the real story, what went down? But they made room for Connor Zilich. And by the way, it was Ricky Stenhouse that got hit by Connor Zilich. And yeah, well, I forgot to turn my phone down, everybody.
I'll get
yeah.
One other thing though, and it's touching on Trackhouse, and Kenny said it was a tough sport. And we've seen this many times over the years. If you ever underestimate how tough the Cup Series is, look at Ty Gibbs and Connor Zilich. And the year before they went into the Cup Series, how they dominated in what's now the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Ty Gibbs still hadn't won a race. And Connor Zilich has been almost non-existent this year unless he was wrecking.
Okay, that's a highlight. Sad but true. Sad but true. Okay. We're not done, Kenny.
Ty Gibbs he's put himself in position.
Hey, Kenny, I'm glad you brought that up. My notes, I stand corrected from last week. For the second week in a row, but I read that was in Vegas. That was Ty Gibbs' third straight top 5. So once again, Ty Gibbs focuses and gets rid of all the noise, with this Gabehart lawsuit, Gabehart talking badly of Ty Gibbs. And of course the fans jumping on the bandwagon. the fans don't like the Ty Gibbs because he's driving for his grandpa, just a bunch of noise. I like that Ty Gibbs. He's very nice,
It's also his second time that I know of upside down in the sprint car, but that's another story.
Hey, stay right there. He just missed it. He thought he was going to peel around that guy and took that left front and just growing pains.
Only missed it by
Growing
6
pains.
inches.
Kenny, think about that. You and I, we were, now listen, same story. You and I, we did not want Dale Earnhardt Jr. to run dirt because I didn't mind when I started running dirt. I didn't mind being made fun of because I got thick skin. But Ty Gibbs, what do you think of that? I mean, right at the start, and he goes into the most dangerous race car there is, a sprint car.
Yeah, most dangerous. He goes into the toughest level, and he goes into the World Outlaw shows, and as he's only run however many, not many, and ran pretty damn good. I mean, to make the show is amazing. To go out there and not look like a clown is amazing. I thought he looked good, so I was big surprised. I think he's done a great job in that car.
Yeah, and going back, we didn't want Dale Earnhardt Jr. to learn how to run dirt in front of everybody because he was too popular, and we just didn't want him doing it. And here's Ty Gibbs going, here, I'll do it. And he's setting himself up for abuse by the fans, but hey, like you said, I mean, I'm impressed. I don't think he should do it. I think his career's too young and he's running too good in Cup. That's just my opinion. Okay, Kenny, the fight is still going on. Let's go back. Let's go back to Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez. So Ross Chastain tries to leave, and the media runs after Ross Chastain. And they're like, Ross, fire. They're like, say something. And Ross Chastain, Kenny, looks at a contingent of media. They're all running after him. Ross Chastain says, not a chance, boys. Should he have given them some juice, or
No.
did he do the right thing?
He should have done whatever he wanted. If it's a media thing where the top 3 got to do this or the top 5 got to do this, then you need to do that because that's your obligation. In that situation, he should do whatever in the hell he wanted to do. And if he wanted to say not today, basically none of your business, I'm out of here, more power to him.
I really like that take because you're right. He doesn't have to do anything. He's not in the top 3. But my perspective is from comedy because it leaves the media with bated breath. They're like, damn it, say something mean. That way you can get in trouble with NASCAR. But I got to tell you, I'm impressed with Ross. Did a good job.
Yeah,
From a media perspective, I remember being down there and I would be producing and there'd be a reporter and a cameraman with me, and we'd go up to somebody and we'd ask them something and they wouldn't give us anything. And, one of those guys, the reporter, the cameraman would get mad and be like that guy. And I was like, I'm the same way as Schrader. I'm like, that he doesn't owe us anything. He doesn't have to do that. And I'll tell you, I've never, and you know who I'm talking about whenever I say this because there's more than one of them. I don't like people that stir what. And there's a lot of people in that media room that's all they care about is clickbait, is getting some quote, something out of context or something like that to stir some controversy that's really a made-up controversy if you want to know the truth. So I'm glad he didn't take the bait.
Kenny, I stop and think about that today. How many people do you think we had? Maybe, 4 people? I mean, today, the media room's a lot more crowded today than it was in our day.
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like now. So, yeah, we had people. We had a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't need as many people. You can get information everywhere now. You can get it from so many different sources. You used to have to be there.
I feel like the media, I say this respectfully. I don't say this as a dig. I say the media has been forced into, they compete against each other because there's so many of them. I mean, my gosh, you got Podcrash, you got Gluck, you got, all the podcasts and Reed Spencer. And I mean, it goes on and on. There's just way more. So, okay, guys, almost a half hour and we're going to move out of the Cup Series. So we had a fun little O'Reilly Auto Parts race. And the reason it was fun is because, we got Corey Day and we got Kyle Larson competing over the dirt track. Now, we're going to get there, everybody. But when the O'Reilly Auto Parts race starts, follow the dots, everybody. It was Kyle Larson won the first night over the dirt track. Corey Day won the second night. So now when these two drivers go over to the NASCAR track, they're the story. Even though it's a NASCAR, because the dirt track's right next door. So Kyle Larson wins the Xfinity race, and Corey Day ends up like 7th. Kenny, that is a fifth, and a 7th for Corey Day. What's your thoughts? Kyle Larson does win the race, but what's your thoughts on Corey Day?
That's a hell of a good start. That's solid. Now, he ruffled a few feathers in some of those finishes.
Yep.
But that's a good start. He's got a lot of talent, and he's obviously in a real good car. So we need to see some results.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. How many drill bits have you snapped just trying to finish one job? Then yeah, I'm talking directly to you, and you will want to hear this. I'm fired up about Can Cut drill bits and cutting tools. These are American-made, family-owned, industrial quality drill bits trusted by automotive and fabrication pros for decades. These are not box store throwaways. And now you can save 25% off your entire order with code DIRTYMO. These bits really are a game changer for me, and here's why. Because sometimes my drill bit will walk, and I'll take a punch out and put a center punch in and then go. These bits, they just go right away. Can Cut drill bits are made from premium high-speed steel and high vanadium content, then salt nitride treated. This isn't a surface coating. The toughness is in the DNA of the tool. That's why these things will drill stainless steel, even titanium alloy, and keep coming back for more. Here's the bottom line. You're not breaking bits, you're not wasting time, and you're not making extra trips to the store. You're getting the best bang for your buck. Check out cancut.com and use code DIRTYMO for 25% off your order. That's KNKUT.com with code DIRTYMO. Don't compromise your work. Use what the pros use. Get it done the first time with USA-made Can Cut drill bits and cutting tools. Yeah, so they run this race. Of course, man, I'll tell you just something that comes to the top of my mind is our local hero, Justin Allgaier. He is dominating. I mean, in my opinion, this is his strongest start to any year ever. I mean, he just, he wins Phoenix last week, and he just, really running good. Okay, Kenny, I'm going to set you up for this one because I'm sure you've been in this position a lot. Okay, so in the O'Reilly Auto Parts race, Kyle Larson wins, and the media is asking him all these questions. Kyle Larson starts looking at his watch, and he says, guys, I got 20 minutes. And my heat race is next door. How many times have you been in that position?
Well, I wasn't in the media room afterwards enough times to be in that position. But yeah, you get out and you got to hustle to get to another race if you're going to do that kind of schedule that Kyle does. So yeah, it happens. But he also up front with him then just tells him, hey, let's get through this. Because if you just sat in there and just saw how long they could drag it out and come up with the same question that you answered 4 questions ago, but they worded it just a little bit different. It'd take forever.
That reminds me of Dale Earnhardt Sr. Kenny, you did some photo shoots with Senior. I heard, and you could maybe verify this or not, but Dale Sr., right, he was bigger than life, and they'd be doing a photo shoot, and they said Dale Sr. would say, 1 more, boys, and that's it.
Yeah.
Were you ever part of that?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's the way we're going to do it. If you don't have it by now, you're not doing your job.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, Earnhardt could rule NASCAR in a lot of different ways, everybody. He ruled the media, the photographers, and NASCAR. Okay. I left a little extra room, everybody. But before we get to dirt racing, just gloss over a couple things that I thought were big. The IndyCar race at Arlington, Texas, the IndyCar race, they set up a 2.7-mile road course around the Dallas Cowboy football stadium and around the Texas Rangers baseball stadium. Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones said, look, they came to me and I said, if we're going to do this, it's got to be quality. And Roger Penske is quality. And might I add, Fox owns a third of IndyCar, Fox TV. And Kenny, they knocked it out of the ballpark, and it looked good. I just really see IndyCar, man, they did good letting Fox TV buy in to a third of this. My question to you, Kenny, do you think this is propped up as IndyCar has been outside the Indianapolis 500?
Well, I didn't see the race. I saw one Jerry Jones interview where he said, if we're going to do it, it's got to be class. It's got to be right. I heard one driver talking about that it was a great course, and you got to remember it's a street course, basically. It's not a permanent course. With Dietz, I heard good things about it, so it must have looked good on TV. Did you get to see any of it?
Yeah, I watched it, and they had a straightaway on there where about 2/3 down that straightaway, the cars were wide open. I mean, you could hear the pitch of the engine. They were not going up in revs anymore because they were flat out wide open. And I like Kenny, I thought or Herm, I have to differentiate. But anyway, I thought it was great. I thought it looked great. I've seen better races, but I think that course has got the potential to put on good races in the future. And, what Mr. Penske's doing right now with IndyCar is everything you would expect is something that Roger Penske's involved in.
Listen, I'm going to say it the way I see it. I love all racing, but you have to have a different acquired taste to watch Formula One and IndyCar. They're not going to battle side by side like we do. They're upside down airplanes. They got massive downforce. Planes got lift. These things got massive downforce. Now, I love the cars and I love the people, but to me, if they got 2 or 3 good passes for the lead, that's a hell of a open wheel race. And you got to train yourself. I respect them, but you're just not going to have. I mean, there was a time, just going back to the Cup race, Kenny, I don't know if you watched it, but they were 3 and 4 wide for over laps after lap in the Cup race. So, yeah, I mean, do you expect any more out of IndyCar, Kenny?
Well, it's the type of car it is with the open wheels and all the downforce and the speed that they carry.
Yeah.
It's not good when we can touch
battle.
If they touch sides, it's tires. And when rubber touches rubber like that, and all the rubber's rotating like that, when it can't touch tires, but they wind up bad places. So, yeah, I mean, right now that series got a lot going for it. last several
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Okay. Good job, Roger Penske and Fox Sports. Really elevating IndyCar. Okay. One last thing before we go dirt racing. This one, I went, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This Kimi Antonelli over in Formula One. Mercedes-Benz hired this kid when he was I don't know, 16 maybe. They hired him as a development driver when he was like 13, 14. And Kimi Antonelli, 19-year-old kid, wins the Formula One race. And just to add on to that, Lewis Hamilton finally, after a year on his second year, the great Lewis Hamilton finally gets that podium finish with Ferrari. But Kenny, they just keep producing these kids younger and younger.
They got a lot of experience when they're 19 now. You know, they've been running something for forever. So, yeah, I mean, that's great. You know, there's no telling how many years that he can be around and what kind of career he'll have. But they're out there. They're young, too.
Okay, everybody. I'm not going to take any words away from Kenny Schrader. I'm just going to say, Kenny, this was probably one of our rougher weekends in dirt racing. I'm just going to set this up simultaneously. If you're watching Dirt Vision, at the same time, Cannondale, Texas, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, is saying we have stopped everything because of a medical emergency. Then over here in Smoky Mountain, they have a red flag for the late models because Dennis Erb somehow spins and gets center punched. Just, you were racing around that time, but we all kind of know what's up. Give me your thoughts about just that 1 hour right there in dirt racing.
We were racing in Oklahoma at Arrowhead Speedway, beautiful facility, Friday night, and we had on Kennedale, but phone service was bad, and so I wound up. I was watching the late mile races, and they were for some reason coming through a little better, and all of a sudden, the big wreck in a late mile race with Overton, right? Overton was first, Madden was second, and they center punched Dennis Erb that got turned around somehow. And once figured out everybody was okay, then went back over to sprint car race, and it was for a medical emergency. And they didn't say an accident. I didn't think it was on the racetrack. It just sounded different. So I didn't know if it was somebody in the grandstands or not. But then to find out that it was some of the rescue people, two of the rescue people, that the side-by-side units, they were lining up for the B main maybe, and someone turned over, and they, in the rush to get there, which, their job, which they do a tremendous job, is to get to the accident quick. I guess they ran into each other in the infield somehow, and we had a fatality and some serious injuries to another of the workers. So just terrible situation. You see it as quick as they move with these vehicles. You think, but they're just doing what they're trained to do. You see it at the Chili Bowl. It always makes me nervous when those guys go running out there, and there's still cars coming. Obviously, they're under yellow flag and that, but you don't know if someone's transponder is not transponder, receiver's working right, or they didn't see the yellow, but whatever. It's just part of our sport. It's got a lot of dangerous things that can happen in it, and boy, we sure hate to see what happened, but it's terrible. And just thoughts and prayers to everyone involved.
Yeah, well said, Kenny. And I would like to say, I our dear friend Jerry Hoffman, who owns Springfield, Missouri Raceway, I told Jerry, I said, Jerry, I'm going to give you $1,000. You have got to get some flags or lights on your four-wheeler. And of course, he, in a funny way, he put some reflector tape on it and put Coffee with Kenny on the gas tank. But, our Jerry Hoffman, who we love very much and is a great race car driver, does a wonderful job with Springfield. But, I could see this, like you said, this is part of our sport. But I think I'll call Jerry. And I did see a four-wheeler. I don't know what track it was, but, man, this thing had lights on the side of it everywhere. Now, I'm not saying that would have helped him. We're definitely not blaming anybody, but Kenny well said, and man, they do go rushing around those racetracks trying to get to situations, and we're reminded, once again, how tough our sport can be. Anything else there, guys, about that situation? Then we're going to go into dirt racing.
Well, I think it's just like you said, Herm. Anytime I'm at a racetrack and have got to do the invocation, I always pray for the crew members and the safety workers too. It's controlled chaos most of the time, but you got cars coming in and out and left and right and safety vehicles and this and that and the next thing. And, when you put humans out there with that much machinery, a lot of things can happen. And I think just like you said, you got to take as many precautions as you can. And the World Outlaws is top notch as far as that goes. So it's just an unfortunate accident and just have to be aware at all times.
Okay. Deep breath, everybody. Like Kenny said, our thoughts and prayers to everybody with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. And, I'm sure they're going to learn from this and move forward, see if they can do anything any different. Okay, Kenny, it's I like to pile on what you got to say. I mean, you're as educated as dirt racing as we all are. Take a shot at it, and we'll all fill in the hole here. What do you got this week for dirt racing?
Well, I just knew what was going on. I knew of we're out on late models. Mikey Marler whooped them good. Friday night at Bulls Gap. Put a whooping on them. Saturday night, we had the wreck with Overton and Madden with 2 to go, I believe. Overton was leading. Madden was running second. And then Little Pierce wound up inheriting the top spot and was able to finish it off in front of Hoffman. Unbelievable race Friday night at Kennedale with the World Outlaw Sprint cars, with the lead changes. Billy Baylog looked like he was going to get it, and last lap pass from gravel past him. It was just great racing. I know they had the speed week all last week at that Friendship with the modifieds down in North Carolina.
Yeah, that one I have to interrupt you there. That was wow. Did they wreck their ass?
That was a real wreck. That little Padula.
Wow.
Padula, I think is how you say it. But
yep.
There's just a lot of good racing. The high limits at Vegas, they were out there. Just good racing.
Hey, I got to give a shout out. I don't know who is working the dirt out at Vegas right now, but we all know that's 90% sand. Maybe they brought some dirt in, but Kenny, I'm sure he had to look at that. I mean, there was no holes. It seems like they had a really good surface out there. Do you know anything about who or what's going on? How they get that surface that good?
Well, it's gotten better over the last half dozen years. They've got a handle on it, and it's been better.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. And I just want to say that I am smiling because when I get on my pass, it's that time of the year where I got to scroll. There's dirt racing has started, and here we are. It's the middle of March.
My race pass.
Yeah, my race pass. Yep, the app. Usually,
app.
You're in the winter time. Yeah.
Anybody wants to know what's going on in short track racing, that's the app to get.
Yeah, my race pass, and there's a lot of racing going on. Okay, well, here we are, boys. I think we did a good job. I know that we're gonna zone in on what we're gonna do this week. What do you want to do? Jokes or what we're gonna do this week?
I'm gonna
Why don't
go
we
race
do what we're gonna do this week?
Yeah. Go on, Kenny. What are you gonna do?
Well, it's a weekend. I'm gonna go race. We're going to Peevely, Federated Auto Parts Raceway Park, I guess is now. They're running A mods and B mods. Both of them pay $5 to win. So we're just gonna go over there. It's best race around, and it's good facility. So we're gonna go over there and run Friday and Saturday.
And boy, if things stay the way it looks like, they got very lucky. It looks like 79 degrees on Saturday, but in the 70s on Thursday, high 70s Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So talk about a big temperature change. So Wednesday.
If all the equipment if it's not froze up and the engines or blocks are cracked from today and tomorrow, it'll be a great weekend.
Boy, I tell you what, ain't that the truth? Man, sometimes there's unforeseen circumstances. It's crazy right now. I just can't even believe that this weather's like this. And listen, we're all of age now. We've seen it. I just see more drastic weather changes lately. I mean, we're looking at, yesterday we're in shorts and T-shirts, and this morning we're layers of coats. So you're right. Hopefully Federated Auto Parts Raceway Park will be thawed out, and looks like a big weekend there. Okay, I am going to start my racing April 18th, a month from now. I am going to Europe again. I'm going to Athens, Greece. But more importantly, I am going to go to Nuremberg, Germany, Nuremberg Ring. I am going to make some laps around that road course at a slow rate of speed. Man, Kenny, have you ever seen any of those videos from people going over there? Somebody's going to try to, I don't know if it's Max Verstappen, somebody's taking something, but they're always trying to set records at Nuremberg Ring, and the wrecks are catastrophic. So I'll be putting around the racetrack. But have you ever seen any of those videos?
No, I have not.
Go to YouTube and push in Nuremberg Ring wrecks.
Okay.
They're not funny.
Are you going to get the go around the old course too that had the high bank turns and all of that stuff, or is it more the current configuration?
That was Monza, wasn't it?
No, Monza had one, but Nuremberg there was a part that I think they called like the Forest.
Okay.
And that was the old, but I mean the track was like 12 miles long or something at that time.
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing people that have done they say, Herm, rent the cheapest thing they got because it's like really good, like a Supra. I don't know what it is. And maybe I'm saying it wrong. Respond right here, everybody. But I'm looking forward to that. And okay, Kenny's going to Peevely. I'm going to Europe. Dietz, what are you doing?
Well, this past weekend I got to get back to the racetrack. My youth football team beat an undefeated team that had not scored less than 20 points to win the championship. It was a mix of good coaching and good execution by the kids, I must say. But I went to Lakeview this past weekend. The Blue Ridge Outlaws were there with the 525 engines. Travis Steele won that race. And This weekend, I could end up at South Alabama Speedway for the Rattler. It's paying $50,000 to win. Ty Majeski, Bubba Pollard, Steven, all the big guys are going to be there. If I don't go, I'll be watching it, and I'll be at my son's basketball. He's got a basketball tournament this weekend in Indian Trail. So if I don't go, that's what I'll end up doing.
Kenny, I haven't heard that. The Rattler, that's a famous race.
Yeah, Alp, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a great racetrack too. A lot of folks maybe outside of pavement racing don't know a lot about it, but it's just a perfect racetrack, and the Dykes family owns it, and I love going there. It's just so far from here in Charlotte, so I don't know if I'm gonna make it out there this weekend or not, but I'll definitely be watching.
All right, the ever famous joke section, everybody. It just gets bigger and better every week.
Or worse.
We'll be the judge of that.
Oh, hey,
yeah. So
stop.
Okay.
The what's the take on the fans Phoenix or Vegas?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. You know what? That makes me happy that you like that.
I like that.
I looked earlier today and it looked good, but let me see where it's at now. Right here, I got it. Jeff Gluck, and 6,300 people have voted as of now, and it is 61% good, 39% no. Not as great as the last races, but NASCAR is still trending in the right direction.
I'll take 61 for Vegas.
Yeah, right. Such a big track,
yep.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now, everybody. Good question, Kenny, and there it is. Yep.
And don't forget, because we hadn't mentioned it, but right here on my wall back behind me, the track Too Tough to Tame this weekend, Darlington. So should be good.
Hey, Kenny, we should mention that NASCAR and everybody is giving in a little bit. They said it is hard with these millions of dollars of sponsorship. Not everybody wants a throwback car. They want their product placement for the $500,000 they're given. I can understand that. What do you think?
No, it's their car. I mean they bought the rights to paint it and have it painted. Nothing's painted, but have it wrapped like they want. So, and I don't know if that wasn't the throwback thing. Wasn't a mandatory thing, was it?
No, you're right. I feel like they
just kind of took off.
Yeah, I think it kind of guilted everybody into you will do throwback.
Yeah.
It was an official throwback weekend for like the last 4 or 5 years, but not this year. And like you said, the folks that want to do it can, and the ones that don't, the Roush Fenway cars are honoring Biffle again with the font design on their cars. And I love what Ram's doing with their trucks for the race Friday with the old Dodge paint schemes on them. From whenever Dodge was in the Truck Series the first time. But, yeah, it's not mandatory, and it's not an official throwback weekend this year, I don't think.
Okay. This is kind of funny. This is just timing. Lee Spencer, right at the end of Herm Schrader, I think, I put it out there on Coffee with Kenny. Tell me the lady's name that broke this fight up. Lee Spencer, I think it's Lauren Emling, maybe. Edit this out if I don't got it right, everybody.
Who's she work for?
Lee Spencer. Let me look here.
Who did she work for? Did it say?
No, Lee sent me. Hey, Google it. Who's Lauren Emling? Let me see. Who can Google quicker than me? Or I tell you what, when you want to find out who somebody is, you take and go to Facebook.
LinkedIn's good too, and I'm looking right now. It says Lauren Emling, Senior Account Supervisor at True Speed Communication, which is that's Mike Arning's deal, but I'm trying to see who she actually works for now.
Yeah. Oh, let me see. Oh, darn it. Then Lee says, you didn't get that from me. Edit this appropriately, everybody. Oh, darn it. I'm going to put, oh, darn it. Oh, darn it. I just put this at the end of Herm and Schrader, period. Let me see here. Hold on. This is good. Yeah, oops. I wrote, oh, darn it. I just put this at the end of Herm and Schrader. So, yeah, I know him very well. And Arning, like everybody, I don't know what it is, Kenny. I think I'm not a teacher, but, you know, I had a PR guy that ended up being the president at Daytona. I got brain fade. Help me. What was his name? Not you too.
Jesus.
You got brain fade too?
Chip Wow.
Yeah, Chip Wow was my PR guy at Bill Davis.
And I remember when he was your PR guy, and he was very young. And when I found out he became the president of Darlington first, every time I see it, I'm like, that kid that was with Kenny Wallace is doing this now. it's just hard to believe it.
Okay, here we go. Lee puts the end to it, and of course worked with both at Trackhouse. There you go. You're looking live. That was fun.
So, it's probably like a big sister thing. She's like, listen, you two stop it. Just, go back to your bedrooms.
We're going to use this. Sorry, Lee. And I love what Lee just put. And this makes sense. Lee Spencer says, yes, she's one of us. And it's that old saying, if you know, you know, everybody. I'm going to use this. Don't be sorry. She's the PR. Okay, we're going to use it, everybody. Leave this alone. Thank you so much. Yeah. Lee says, yep, she did a hell of a job. So congratulations. That's awesome to Lauren Emling.
Yeah, who we just Facebooked and LinkedIn stalked.
Yeah, Lee is from St. Louis, everybody. Kenny Schrader and I love her. Damn, that was a surprising, fun segment. Okay. Kenny, you got any jokes off the spur of the moment your fans tell you?
No, I got no jokes. With the jokes that Dietz always comes up with, I wouldn't even try to compete with him.
Well, today they're animal based. What do you call a deer with no eyes?
A deer with no eyes?
Yeah. No idea. Okay. Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use a honeycomb.
Oh.
Right? Okay, last one. Why can't a leopard hide?
Why can't a leopard hide?
Because he's always spotted.
That's probably the best one.
I'm really glad that was the last one.
Listen, hey. I intentionally make them corny so they can be clean.
Yeah, damn good job you're doing.
Can I say this? Lee Spencer saved the day for us just now. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, she lightened up here at the end, everybody. So at Dirty Mo, they don't have to edit all that up. Thank you, Lee Spencer. We love you. And I have a feeling that everything will be good with Lauren Emling letting us. I mean, she was on national TV, so what am I going to do?
all
stuff.
3 national series at Darlington.
And useless information, but does NASCAR come back to the East Coast now? Is that it? Or are they done out there, out west?
For a little bit, yeah. They've had Phoenix and Vegas. Still waiting on that Auto Club short track race. We'll have to see how that works out. But...
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Kenny Schrader told you what he's doing. I told you what I'm doing. I think we covered it all. We always say it at the end, if you want to listen to this on the way to the racetrack, turn into Dale Jr.'s Dirty Mo Media podcast. If you want to see Kenny Schrader's awesome office, it's really a good-looking office.
Orange.
Turn into the Kenny. Orange, you happy? You're the one that told me that joke.
Knock,
Turn into the
knock.
Kenny Wallace. Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
All right.
Aren't you
Who's
glad
there?
I didn't
Oh.
say banana?
Set me right up.
Say
I
goodbye,
love it.
guys.
Okay. Okay, until the next Herm Schrader show, everybody. We'll see you next time.